Welcome to the channel. Unfortunately, I had to take a short break from making videos, so I hope you have a good start to the new year, and it will keep going this way. Luckily, even though I haven't had much time to run the channel, I'm certainly very up to date with what's going on in the game. So there are really a lot of things that I want to make a video about. I will be glad if you tell me in comment section what is the hottest topic for you now. But in this episode, I would like to do a summary of the latest essences for Wizard, something similar to what I used to do for a Necromancer, and it's worth mentioning here that I will probably change my class soon, even if the Wizard is at its best right now. My choice would most likely be the Crusader, or simply going back to the Necromancer. Time will tell, but now let's move to the latest Wizard's essences. Offhand first, Iceblood Reliquary, and here it is worth noting that several new essences have an interesting way of activation. They are used directly on the target, so it is basically impossible to miss with them. The opponent cannot avoid either, but in the era of immunity and other overpowered death protections, it doesn't look that good. Also, in PvP, you usually have to focus mainly on several targets at the same time, so I would personally expect more from skills focused on one target. So the new ice armor applies a chill effect, but I must admit that in my humble opinion the Wizard has much better skills to do it. Perhaps if it froze completely after a certain amount of time, it could be considered, but in this form it is rather unusable. Next one is Code of Vexation, new armor essence. The mechanic of use is identical to the previous one, but here we get much more damage and range, which is definitely an advantage for the new Lighting Nova. Basically, looks like the basic version of this skill, but in this case it is used directly on the target and then reactivates several times. Thanks to this, it damages all nearby enemies. As I mentioned earlier, the range is quite okay, so this essence can be used. Unfortunately, apart from damage, it does not impose any harmful effects. Next essence is Dead Star Striders, alternative for Meteor. This is another skill that we use directly on the target. And basically it seems to be the best option among the new essences. Meteorites falling directly on the target, which deal quite decent damage, can't be a bad solution. Unfortunately, they only work if the target is not moving. Otherwise, the meteorites will fall behind the moving target, so they can be avoided very easily, which basically excludes them from being used effectively in PvP. A much better solution is to control any area with one of the old meteorite essences. Next is Bluster Crux, the main hand essence. And as many of you have probably noticed, this is the only essence that was very well received. It is the core of many Wizards builds now. And there is nothing surprising here, because the old version of Arcane Winds was much less effective. The newest essence provides us with quite a large operation area, and at the same time pulls all opponents immediately inside, right to the center. So now we can position our opponents quite effectively, which helps us to use further skills on them. I think it's currently hard to imagine playing a wizard without this essence. On the other hand, it is worth trying to group opponents in one place and use new skills. I believe that this is the synergy that the developers intended when introducing them. But again, I don't think this will be the best solution. In the era of immunity, we don't have much time to deal damage, so we need some quite high burst or heavy CC to prevent them from next immunity activation. I think I managed to make a wizard build that works quite well in the current meta. The video will definitely appear on the channel soon. Nevertheless, this essence is definitely a must-have, even after the latest update, which changes a lot when it comes to maintaining CC. In the case of the remaining essences, I think there is not much to say here. They all basically work for a damage buff to various skills or their cooldown reduction. Head Essence reduces cooldown of the black hole by 18.5%. And Stag of Ill Omen, Shoulder Essence, increases damage by 19% for 3 seconds after using meteorites. Basically, this essence gives us a pretty good damage boost. However, there is a ton of great alternatives, so we can't always use it. And at this point, I would like to thank all my loyal viewers who stayed with me while I was not active. I will try to do everything to come back with new videos, because there are so many topics to discuss. So as always, thanks for watching.